Hello everyone, this is tutorial for Group 4. Today we will talk about distance education technology. As we know, distance learning has become the main method of the teaching in university due to the COVID-19, which has led to a growing demand for the online communication tools, including the Zoom. According to data, the Zoom's daily active user count was up 378% in 2020, while monthly active users were up 186%. Also, online course has been widely used in recent years. They still have a lot of problems that need to be solved. In this presentation, we will discuss the ethical, legal, social, and cultural issues related to the distance education, as well as the stakeholders affected by the online courses, and finally present how this issue can be addressed.
Hello everyone, my name is Yuna and I'm going to present the description part. The distance learning is to listen to the lecture remotely through the internet and use tools such as Team, Zoom, or other software or network platform to communicate with classmates and tutor. The advantage of the distance learning is reduce the time spending because teacher or student no need to go to school from home and provide more comfortable place that teacher and student keep relaxed mood and focus more on the learning and the teaching. But the technology also brings a disadvantage in some aspect, the ethic aspect, legal aspect, and the cultural and social aspect we will talk about later. So we can see in picture the COVID-19 increased the number of people study online and uh, the disadvantage bring by distance learning become more serious.
Hello everyone, today I will talk about the stakeholder analysis. We all know the education is like teacher teaching students knowledge. So the two most important stakeholder in the distance education are also students and teaching staff. Both traditional education and distance education are very important to students because this is their way of learning. And the importance of distance education to the teaching staff are also very high because no matter what kind of education model, the quality of teaching is very critical factor. Secondary stakeholders include school educational institution, educational equipment organization, and government. For schools and educational institutions, the importance of distance education is probably at medium level, and the most of education models are still traditional education, unless the special situation such as COVID-19 right now. And for the educational equipment organizations, the importance of distance education is medium or high level. Education educational equipment is also can use in the traditional education, but the demand for the educational equipment in the distance education will be higher. For the government, the importance of distance education is low level because most of education models are still traditional education, so the government do not think the distance education is important. And in the analysis of interest and influence, educational equipment organizations have high interest and low influence because distance education can help educational equipment organization bring more benefits, but their organizations can excite with distance education. School have a high interest in distance education, and the impact is also great. because distance education can help schools open more courses to get more students. However, the unsuccessful course of distance education has a great impact on the reputation of the school. And for students, teaching staff, and equipment institution and the government, they all have medium influence and high influence. For students and teaching staff, distance education is a new education model. They are interested in it they want to try it, but if the quality of the education is not high, it will bad for the both students and teaching staffs. And educational institutions can recruit more students to bring more benefits through distance education. We are also they also worrying about the impact of unsuccessful distance education, and the government hope that this new model of distance education can bring more extensional benefit and prices. But unsuccessful will also bring lots of bad problem.
The most serious ethic problem in universities is academic cheating. The reason for cheating increased by distance learning is based on spatial-logical distance. Spatial-logical distance is referred to the self-perception of the target group. The distance on the location and the limitation of the network communicate will increase the spatial-logical distance. So we can see in this picture the number of the online student cheating is raised from 2002 to 2012. For distance learning, teacher and school also need to bear part of the ethic responsibility. Online teachers should pay more attention to design the content of the lecture and actively lead students' enthusiasm for learning and maintaining good network condition and teaching equipment as far as possible to provide students with a good learning environment. The reason for quality of teaching decreased by distance learning because this distance learning cannot supervise students' learning progress, situation, and behavior. And also, if the internet transmission rate is low or the CPU is overloaded, it will cause the sound or video to freeze. So will decrease the quality of teaching also.
With regard to the legal issue in the online courses, I consider that the primary problem is the issue of information leakage. This issue can be analyzed in two parts: the leakage of student information and the leakage of the teaching resources. For the current teaching methods, mainly based on the online courses, many universities have set login permission in the use of third-party software like Zoom in order to protect teaching resources from being stolen by outside. And students must use their school email account and password in the third-party software to log in, which can easily cause information leakage in the process of using the software. Meanwhile, online courses involve a lot of screen sharing for the individuals. There is often some personal privacy information in the computer screen interface. So this activity can pose a very serious threat to student privacy. Another aspect is the leakage of the teaching resources. As I mentioned before, although school has set up login permission in the third-party software, they still have many approaches to access the school online courses, which leads to a possibility of the course resources being viewed without permission. Such a situation is not only a threat to the school teaching resources, but also violates the right of students, and in serious case, can lead to a copyright infringement of the teaching resources, including the unauthorized recording of teaching videos and selling or sharing to other users.
Hey guys, let's continue to investigate the issues in respect of social and cultural aspects. There are two key arguments we would like to raise here as the social and cultural issues. Firstly, distance learning technology can cause educational bias by creating financial barriers to students and their families. Secondly, distance learning technology can lead to a situation that students are lack of social relations compared to traditional face-to-face learning method. We will talk about the first issue first. So, while school students are required to remain at home, for example, the current COVID-19 situation, students and their families have to satisfy the educational needs as required by distance learning. This need can include, for example, the devices that a student will need to take the education program, such as a laptop or a computer. Second, a good internet access to support the students from learning remotely. So, according to a research paper carried by Jordan University of Science and Technology, in their public survey over more than 1.7 million users on Facebook, asking the parents what is the difficulty you are facing during the distance learning of your child, there are more than 17% of the votes goes for financial barriers. Among the financial barriers, 63% are voted for inability to buy technology, and 27% of the vote are voted for inability to pay for internet services. And the comments also covered the difficulty of paying for expensive laptops and related technology which are required for effective distance learning. Moreover, some vote draws attention to the fact that the internet is not free and the data usage is not limited. In other words, parents would need to pay for internet, and if their children must spend more time on their internet for studying purpose, this will cost them more money. And many lectures and assignments in a range of subjects requires a good quality internet connection or a large amount of data usage, which both also add to the cost of the distance learning online. And next, we will talk about the second issue, the lack of social relation issue. So in the second issue, evidence from extensive literature reviews indicates that the relationship between young people and their parents, friends, and teachers have a substantial influence on their engagement with school. These relationships and the value embedded in them have powerful impacts on students' engagement and school complexion. While physical attending class in the schools or universities, students communicate with the other students, other academic staffs, or merchant on the campus. So the school engagement and the peer influence are equally important comparing to the study of the degree. So according to another study carried by the University of Western Sydney and Macquarie University, the social fact at school can be categorized into 5 structures. So first, perceived parental support or for education, teacher respect at school, value coherence, belonging at school, and the friends at school. So firstly, in relation to parents, while past studies have highlighted parental participation in school activities, recent research also suggests that students' perception of parental support play a more important role in predicting students' own academic. Secondly, students' perceptions of the way their teachers treat them also appear to have substantial more and more effect on their motivation and engagement. And thirdly, a sense of belonging at school and having friends at school are both closely related factors impinging on students' engagement. And last, the value coherence factor is an innovation designed to measure the ways in which individual students' own engagement might be related to and supported by the engagement of the friends with whom they associate. That's all for the social issue part. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. I will talk about the resolution. We found some ethical issue, legal issue, and social issue. For the ethical issue cheating problem, it's a good solution to solve this problem is during the exam, you need to recording the exam screen and exam taker at the same time. And for the quality of teaching, we just need increase some weekly feedback to ensure they really get something bi-weekly. And for the information leakage problem, just it's not have a good solution to solve this problem. It's just ask students and the teaching staff don't send this information to others. And for the social issue, maybe we think school and the government can help difficulty students. Maybe just provide free learning equipment and internet, or rating teacher or rating teaching equipment. And for the last problem, we just need to add some interactive link to the course. For example, use Kahoot, Miro, or Trello to do something together.
In conclusion, this presentation focused on the topic, the impact of distance learning technology can bring to our lives. Description of the topics is being brief introduced first, followed by a detailed stakeholder analysis discussion, and the analysis method is also being addressed. Furthermore, several potential issues regarding ethical, legal, social, and cultural aspects have been stated and analyzed. Finally, our resolution to the issues of distance learning technology is also being discussed in the last section. Thank you for watching.